Today, we're going to get into a really powerful idea from the philosopher Luciano Floridi. It's a way of looking at our wild, disruptive digital world that honestly helps make sense of it all. It reframes everything from AI to democracy. All right, let's jump in. You feel it, right? That sense that the ground is just constantly shifting under our feet. It's not just that things are getting faster. It feels like the fundamental rules of how the world works are being rewritten. So, what's really going on? What is the force behind all this chaos?
Well, according to Floridi, this is the answer. Digital technology isn't just another tool in the shed. It has this unique, almost surgical ability to take reality, slice it up into pieces, and then paste those pieces back together in ways that were literally impossible before. Okay, so cutting and pasting reality. That sounds pretty huge, right? So how does it actually work? Well, it all comes down to three basic actions: decoupling, coupling, and recoupling. And to really get what that means, we've got to start with one single perfect word. That word is cleaving. And it's perfect because it's what's called an auto-antonym, a word that somehow means its own opposite. It means to split something apart, and it means to cling tightly to something. That one word, it captures the entire disruptive force we're talking about. Digital's power to both shatter reality and then fuse it back together into something totally new. So let's start with decoupling, the splitting apart part. For pretty much all of human history, if you wanted to know where someone was, their physical location was their presence. That's it. But today, you can be sitting in a coffee shop in one city while you're digitally present in a work meeting, a video game, or scrolling a social feed that's happening halfway across the globe. Suddenly, the question, "Where are you?" has two completely different valid answers. And this quote just nails the real-world fallout from that. I mean, if you can do all your banking from your couch or read any book on your phone, what is a physical bank or library even for anymore? Their presence has been decoupled from their original function, and now they have to figure out a whole new reason to even exist in a physical space. Okay, now let's flip it and look at coupling, sticking things together. Think about your identity. It used to be this concept that was pretty separate from, say, your shopping history or where you went on vacation. But digital technology has basically soldered all of your personal data directly onto who you are, creating this single, trackable digital identity. And that is why data privacy is such a massive, massive deal now. And finally, there's recoupling. And what's wild is that this is often a return to a much older way of doing things. For most of history, we were all prosumers. We produced the things we consumed. Then the Industrial Revolution came along and split those roles wide apart. But now, on platforms like YouTube or Etsy, we are all creators and consumers again. The digital world has recoupled those two roles. Right, so we've seen how all this cutting and pasting happens. But that leaves us with an even bigger question. Why? Why does digital tech have this unique power? What makes a smartphone so fundamentally different from, say, a steam engine? Well, Floridi says it comes down to two really deep core ideas. The first factor is that digital is a third-order technology. And the second is that it does something he calls re-ontologings. Now I know, those sound like super academic terms, but stick with me because the concepts behind them are actually pretty simple and kind of mind-blowing. Here's how it breaks down. A first-order technology, like an axe, is just a tool we use on the natural world. Simple. A second-order technology, like a car engine, is a technology that we use to act on another technology, the car itself. But third-order tech, that's the giant leap. That's when one technology acts on another technology all by itself, with no human in the loop. Think of an AI managing a city's power grid. That's the real game changer, autonomy. And that autonomy leads to the second big idea, re-ontologizing. This just means that digital doesn't just rearrange things in our world. It fundamentally remakes the world itself. It's not just about building a faster car. It's about creating an entirely new dimension to exist in, what Floridi calls the infosphere. You know, a friend is no longer just a person you hang out with. It can also be a connection on a network. The very definition, the being of what a friend is, has been re-engineered. Okay, so this is where the rubber really meets the road. Because if we don't get our heads around this cleaving power, this ability to cut, paste, and remake reality, we end up making massive mistakes about some of the biggest issues we face, like the future of AI and even democracy itself. And I want to be clear, this isn't just some abstract philosophical game. Misunderstanding this power has huge real-world consequences. Let's just look at two areas where we are seriously at risk of getting it completely wrong. First up, artificial intelligence.
The way we usually think about AI, from movies and stuff, is that we're trying to build machines that think like us. We're trying to couple agency with human-like intelligence. But Floridi's view is the exact opposite. He argues that real, useful AI is so powerful precisely because it decouples the ability to solve a problem from the need to be intelligent at all.
Think about it like this. A dishwasher doesn't wash dishes the way a human does. It does it in a totally alien, mechanical way. But who cares? The dishes get clean. AI is the same. It's successful when it can master a task, like winning at chess or spotting a tumor, without needing consciousness or understanding or any of the stuff we connect with being human.
Now let's apply that same thinking to democracy. There's this huge push made possible by digital tech for more direct democracy. The idea is to recouple the will of the people directly to the act of governing. But this completely misunderstands how representative democracy was designed in the first place. It was built to intentionally decouple those two things as a safety feature.
This is the core principle right here. The citizens, the voters, we hold the ultimate power, but we delegate the day-to-day exercise of that power to representatives who can then debate and govern. That decoupling is a feature, not a bug. It was designed to prevent things like the tyranny of the majority. So trying to erase that separation with technology could be a really, really costly mistake.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? If we really have this incredible power to cut and paste our world, what does that make us? Well, it means we're living in a fundamentally new period of history, the age of design. Floridi has this amazing analogy. Think of a single sheet of paper. By itself, there are only a few things you can do with it. But the moment you can cut it up into little pieces, suddenly you can combine those pieces in almost infinite ways. You can make mosaics, you can build models. The possibilities, what he calls affordances, just explode. And that is exactly what digital technology does to our world. By cleaving reality, by breaking it down into its fundamental parts, it just demolishes the old constraints and massively ramps up our options for how we can put everything back together. And this is the point that really matters. We are living in the age of design. More than any generation in human history, we have the raw materials and the freedom to arrange, organize, and construct our social, political, and even our personal worlds. Whether we like it or not, we are all designers now. And that leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? This incredible, world-shaping power is in our hands. It's not inherently good or bad. It just is. The real challenge, the defining human project for our time, is to decide what on earth we're going to do with it. What kind of world will we choose to design?